Activision. That's the team that has produced the new version of Crash. And when we were working on Uncharted 4, the team at Naughty Dog wanted to include that Crash cameo, and our third-party relations group reached out to Activision. They gave us permission. I think there were a couple things that we did in return. I think Crash has a cameo in one of their properties, or maybe Uncharted does. And then, of course, the remaster came up as an opportunity, and we all got to see it recently. It looks spectacular. It's been a good experience.
That was a surreal moment in my life, playing Uncharted 4.
Did you know that was happening?
No, actually, it was a very awesome surprise, because I was like, oh my god, a character that I created is playing another character that I helped create, and I'm playing their game. This is really strange, and there was nobody in the room that I could really think, look.
From the original 8, just Justin and Charlotte are still at Naughty Dog. Is that right? So none of the three. You worked on Uncharted.
One. Yeah.
Andy and I did not. So we had left right as it was getting made. We sold the company to Sony, and that was the end of our Jack and Daxter period. So we saw it being made, but did not have input into it.
Obviously, Crash now. There's so much interest in Crash, and remaster people will get to relive those games, which is great. Do you think, from your end, the character of Crash and the type of gameplay, is there room, do you think, for new Crash games? I mean, is that the kind of thing like the concept of it? I mean, the gameplay in Uncharted 4 and even now, it's like it still holds up. Do you guys think?
Sorry.
Would you like to see Crash?
Let's start again. It's 5:30 in the morning here. Okay. Sorry, guys.
I mean, Crash is.
Don't expect an announcement. I don't.
I think it's great that there's.
This is probably just gonna be. Mortal Kombat's 25 years old.
I think a lot of people want to play with.
I remember when Mortal Kombat back in 1992 was just 5 guys.
There is a very good
expect that.
Whether or not Crash is a character.
I'm here on the remote hope that something might get dropped or.
The character and do something new,
but
do something more contemporary that speaks to this
generation. It's 5:30 in the morning. Help me,
and I don't know. That would be a challenge because again, we kind of left Crash thinking that he was PS1. It was way too early for nostalgia, but it was
Naughty Dog. You've got 4 fucking minutes
for that character to move into the world that Jack took up, I think, much better, and then eventually the Uncharted.
So yeah, on the left under the stream. That's the live chat for the E3 Coliseum, and obviously on the right, under my webcam near the dragon logo there, is our chat for my stream. So I had fun setting this up, that's for sure. I don't know why. You can add a direct stream into this XSplit thing, right? And so I'd grab the URL, the link, for this stream, and I'd put it in. And you know what it would tell me? It would come up, perfect YouTube box, and then it would say, sorry, your player doesn't support HTML5. And I Google it, and it doesn't seem to be a thing for anyone else, so I don't know what the fuck is going on. So literally, I've got the stream running on that monitor, and it's just capturing it, and that fucking works. But a direct version won't work. So yeah, fun.
Not you, Chris. Maybe this guy right down here in the front.
Are you ready for disappointment? Yes, I'm ready for disappointment. As long as the chat's good. Hopefully, it tells some good stories.
Hey, how you doing? I really love the first Crash games, but like, I know you mentioned especially. The challenges of working on new hardware and competition with Mario. What were some of the hardest points in development for the first game?
Imagine like Boon comes out and he just like announces Mortal Kombat Deception HD, Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks HD, Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks 2, Mortal Kombat Arcade HD Collection Remaster. They're bringing up. Imagine just announces it all, just all at once. So it wouldn't happen, but imagine, what the fuck is that?
It was some dark times. I
Oh my god, that Crash thing was cringy as fuck. Whatever.
Side with Jason, Andy, and Mark, and
yeah, we'll never. Yeah, they'll never tell us. Not until he retires.
For a heartbeat, Crash Bandicoot was going to be in cyberspace, right? Because we just couldn't crack how to do your entire background with 500 polygons.
Cyberspace, 'cause I remember there was stuff where it looked like it was white.
Oh, the
triangles. That
E3
was a
chat
level.
is
What
so
was it anymore?
cringy. At
The
least
first level that worked was, I can't remember what it's called.
if
Crash
the
1.
discussion's
But
boring,
you're
though.
running around on some
The,
of the stone
the chat will be
platforms,
entertaining.
like, in kind of a dark cavern. Really, basically, that one was
Crash and
before it
burn.
worked because
Crash and
there really
spray.
wasn't much of a background, just some sort of
Poop!
stone things that kind of loomed out of the shadows, so that we could.
I still
focus
dislike just
on
Killy.
gameplay elements.
Yes,
Because
that's
Character, the animation of the character,
Yeah.
making that actually work.
He's not as bad,
We,
dude.
painted
I think he's changed a
like,
lot.
lighting systems, like,
Um,
all the robust game development
I've never
systems
met the
today.
guy.
So we just
He's
uh,
good at
did
hosting,
all
he
we could to
is.
maximize and
But like back
improve
when the whole Angry
our
Joe thing
game
happened,
count.
he
And
seemed a
actually started
lot
to look
more
like something
arrogant,
promising, but
sort
however,
of.
it was not a slam dunk whatsoever.
I don't know. He seemed a lot more
Well,
annoying.
we are unfortunately out of time,
But
but on behalf of everyone here,
he seems a bit more
let's give these
chilled
guys
now,
a round of applause
you know,
for the
so-
contribution they've made to the gaming industry.
Yeah,
With
it's
Crash.
soft. You're out of time.
Thank you so
Bring on
much.
Boon.
Mark, Connie, Bob, Andy, Jason.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys in a few minutes.
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
next channel.
He
Thanks,
called him
guys.
out.
Thank you.
Last
Thank
year.
you.
He gave Konami shit. He actually got a fair bit of respect for me for that. It's a discussion about Mortal Kombat, dude. Mortal Kombat! There it is. What do you mean coming up? It's supposed to be starting right now! Dude. I have to get up at 5:30 in the morning for this shit. Ugh. Oh. Oh. It's too early to talk Mortal Kombat. Oh. Why would you want an Armageddon remaster? You guys... Seriously, you guys are fucked. Why would you want Armageddon remastered? That game wasn't even that good.
Coming up next, Mortal Kombat celebrating 25 years
Deception.
with Ed Boon live on stage. You guys in just
Deception's
a minute.
different. It was exceptional. Like, Armageddon was okay. Deadly Alliance was okay. Deception was amazing. Shaolin Monks was amazing. If they could say, you can get one game remastered, which would you pick? I'd pick Shaolin Monks or Deception. Yeah, I heard that VMon.
All right, we're back again.
Lee filled me in. Here we go.
I know. Lots of panels today, but some great stuff. Do you guys like the Crash panel?
MKM Sub-Zero
That's pretty
Remastered.
cool. Yeah, I want to do more of those. You want to see more of those kind of retrospective things, maybe next year? All right, cool. Yeah, I think that was great.
Get to the combat.
Well, now I have the honor of introducing a guy who, like the Crash team, has been in this industry for so many years and building a franchise that didn't leave us behind at PS1. It is still stronger than ever. Mortal Kombat, Injustice, such an incredible studio, another realm that he's built in Chicago. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ed Boon.
Finally. Dragon logo.
They love you, Ed.
Right, Ed got a bottle of water. I got orange juice.
How we doing, Ed Boon?
I'm doing really good. I always love E3, so great to see everybody.
And this year you get to relax, I think, unless you're announcing a new game here, which I don't think you are.
Well,
Joking about it. God damn it.
Get to walk around the show floor. So this is pretty cool. Many years of Mortal Kombat.
They're not announcing it.
many years. Alive, probably more than some people here are alive.
Yeah. And, what I think is so cool about your career is that, Andy was saying here, they worked on Crash.
I know they won't
6,
announce
7 years
anything.
in,
It's
and
stupid.
like,
Why am I
I'm
even up?
tired of it.
It's 5 in the
Crazy, we
morning.
want to do something new.
It's 10 to 6 here, dude.
Very loyal to Mortal Kombat for all these years, and it still feels like it fires you up.
Yeah, it does. You know, the roller coaster of events that have happened, you know, in parallel with the game have affected a number of, you know, decisions that we've made and whatnot. But for the most part, you know, each game that we've done, we've been fortunate enough to have done well, and has what's the word I'm looking for? Has kind of lend itself to, oh, what we can do next is this, and so the team always has these ideas at the end of the end of the previous game that has just kind of, you know, goes into our notebooks and just kind of fired us all up.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, such an incredible franchise. So let's wind the clock back to the start of Mortal Kombat. Now this was a team of 4 people.
4 people, yes.
One programmer,
I
2
told you
artists,
they'd say that.
one audio.
I told you.
You made this game in how many months?
8 months. 8 months started.
That's how.
So 8 months, 4 people
That's
making.
how well I know the game.
Mortal Kombat.
We were on test 5 months after the first day we started. We went to an arcade and put it just for a weekend, you know, kind of like this stealth thing, like 5 months from the day.
And that arcade was called
Those are
Times
the
Square
old days, right,
Arcade.
where it's like something would pop up and pre-internet.
Come on, Ed, you're leaving out details.
No one would know about it. Now, as people probably know, originally it was going to be a Van Damme game.
It was. We had originally we you know, I think Bloodsport was a big movie that was out at the time, and we put together this like a pitch videotape that we took. You know, we captured screenshots from Bloodsport and put them in.
I want to see
like
that
a mock-up
videotape.
of a game, and had Van Damme kind of bowing to his opponent, and we got a couple of punches and kicks kind of simulated in there, and we sent it saying, you know,
Nothing I can do,
we want to
Batman.
make Van Damme the video game, you know, please, you know, consider us. And again, we're a pretty small team at the time, so I don't know how serious we were taken, you know, in retrospect.
31
And we
viewers.
just kind of politely.
Only 31 viewers, dude.
And
That's
I think
not-
he had said something like they were working on.
It's
a
Mortal
game
Kombat.
at
People
the
watch
time.
me.
With, I think never got released.
Never came out.
Yeah, so I'm still waiting for that game to come out.
All for the better, I think. And the original game, I actually didn't know this, but it was 7 buttons, not 5?
It was. We you know, Mortal Kombat's
I didn't know that.
button layout was high punch, low punch, high kick, low kick, and then a block in the middle. Originally, it was high punch, medium punch, low punch, high kick, medium kick, low kick,
Straight
and it was a mess. And
Did you actually test that? Was it in the test?
well, not in the arcades. We
Okay,
tested, you know, like within the studio, and it was just too complex, and your hand had to move, you know, too far. The buttons were so far apart, so we dropped that pretty quickly.
So when you were doing arcade stuff like that, I mean, did you have a test cabinet like you guys would all gather around? Like, what was development like back then?
It was
This is
very.
back in the pinball studio.
I mean, especially nowadays when you see how games are made, it was absolute garage band, you know, setup. You know, there was just a cabinet in my office that you know we got the assets going and the characters jumping around on the screens, and people
Yes, this is
walking down
live.
the hallway would hear an uppercut or something, or Raiden yelling something. And they, what is that? You know, the game wasn't even an official product yet, and it was just word of mouth. Everybody just in the studio would just kind of, let me see this uppercut that you got going, you know, and they see the blood going, and they were
No,
like,
this is
"Can you do
live."
that? Can you do blood? And I guess we can. There wasn't. We just didn't question things at the time.
Wow.
Don't expect
before we go
announcement. They already
further,
said
I
they're not
wanna-
going to announce
There's a
anything.
great sizzle that you put together on kind of all things Mortal Kombat. So we're going to take a look at that right now. This is Mortal Kombat. Check it out.
What, they're showing a trailer? What's this? Okay. It's a new trailer.
Finish him.
Yeah. Hey, that looks like some pretty nice footage.
Flawless victory.
MK4. I don't have that quality.
Wins. Fatality.
Oh, look how clean that trailer is. Uh-oh. I'm gonna get hit with copyright. Better not. They're not going to announce anything. Don't expect it. They're not going to. They already said they're not going to. They joked about it. It was the first thing they did. No, we're not going to.
Miss Cage. You're going to fight me wearing that?
I like this trailer. It's alright. Showing a bit of the history. I want those clips from earlier. A really clean version of MK4 Road Trip. I don't have that. And the MK1 commercial.
This is your life.
Which means they could be putting something
when
together.
You see the first games, how far.
Because where's that
so
come from?
archaic,
That
know,
clean
and,
footage.
How
I've
far
never seen
things
it.
have gone since, just in the presentation alone. It's just amazing.
But it's, it's cool that it has had so much longevity, and we should reflect back on some of the games. I don't want to go through every one, but MK2, MK3, and I remember MK3. People were kind of angry because some characters were missing, right?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, motherfucker!
MK2
Scorpion! Your favorite! How do you leave
first
your favorite
response
guy
to
out?
kind of lesson that we were learned as far as, don't mess with this. Like, you're going to have a Mortal Kombat game.
You let me down,
you
Ed.
better have Scorpion in it.
Scorpion, my favorite character. You even put Sub-Zero in that.
Didn't have him in it. Same with Raiden. And so while we wanted to introduce new characters, we didn't realize that they had kind of ingrained themselves into people's, like their childhood. A lot of people, come up to me and they say, I'll never forget the first time I saw Mortal Kombat, the first time I saw Fatality. They'll be really specific. They'll say, I was at, this pizza place right by my house, my dad was paying for this, I went over, I heard everybody talking about it, and there's this great memory that people have of that first experience. I think that's part of what's
an arcade in Showcase on the beach at the Gold Coast. First time I saw Mortal Kombat.
Like the first time they saw a Fatality in Mortal Kombat or something.
I first saw Sub-Zero.
Those early days, like, MK 1, 2, 3, 4, rapid iteration, was gaining attention. Was there ever a point where you sort of wanted to give up on it? I mean, like any creative people, there are high points, low points. What was the sort of the low point for you in those early
Special
days?
Forces.
At some point, like during Mortal Kombat 4, we had gone, nonstop from MK1. I remember working on Mortal Kombat 3. Literally, I was pulling an all-nighter, programming, and a lot of people were saying, "Oh, they just went out and saw the Mortal Kombat movie," and I'm working on the Mortal Kombat, third game, just missing everything, just all of the hype that was going on with the Acclaim games and the movies that came out. They started doing TV shows, and I think they had like a tour going on. All that was happening while we were with our heads down working on the next game, and it was a real push. People didn't realize how many hours we were putting into this, and so that exhaustion was kind of playing a big factor for us as far as just that and wanting to try something new. But the game just kept doing really well, and it had a significant role in Midway's financials.
They needed you.
Yeah, they weren't going to have us not do it, and so there was a little bit of also, well, if we don't do it, somebody will.
Right.
And so it was that we were kind of a little bit of, even when we were talking, the first Mortal Kombat, we started already, coming up with ideas for a Star Wars game. We were like, okay, we're going to do Star Wars next, and our general manager was like, no, you're not.
Get back to work on FK. I remember, when I was a kid, Mortal Kombat, was in arcades, and then it would always be the home version that would come out, right? You'd be waiting for that, and how good would it be compared to the arcades and things like that. Tell us a bit about those times, because I remember, there were times where it wasn't quite as good, it was a little different, but there was always that window. And I remember, I'd go to the arcade and play it, and be waiting for the home version to come out. So were you effectively kind of building each game twice in a way, like the arcade version, or how much conversion?
What the fuck you talking about, Keely? Acclaim did the home version. What the?
Well, to Acclaim's credit, Acclaim was publishing. They had the rights to publish all of Midway games for like a 5-year.
Acclaim did a really good job.
You know, Mortal Kombat came into that.
I was pissed off when they closed down.
You know,
right after
contracted
Deadly
out other
Alliance.
developers to do the ports, and so they had one group doing the Super Nintendo port, one group doing the Genesis port, and they were separate.
Were you involved though?
Oh yeah. We had like we had to approve it, you know, before they could publish the game. That caused problems, and so we were, you know. We were in our 20s. We were a lot younger back then, and so we were very passionate. Very, you know, you can't mess with this. And there was an issue with the blood stuff too, you know, like so. The you know, as you know, the ESRB ratings had come up.
And wasn't like the Nintendo version didn't have blood. I can't remember what
exactly.
It was. Yeah.
And so the Genesis version had blood, and the Nintendo version had sweat, and they
sweat.
And they kind of watered down, and by watered down I mean ruined the fatalities in the game, and they had a
run.
So there was the Nintendo version which looked a little better, and then there was the Genesis version which didn't have quite the visual fidelity, but had the blood and it played a lot better.
Yeah.
So, you know, a lot of people credit that game, you know, MK1 as a big leap forward in Sega's, you know, kind of war with Nintendo.
Let me ask you about sort of, you know, some of those aspects with the fatality, violence, and Mortal Kombat's been around for so many years. You've had to weather a lot of sort of storms around that sort of stuff, and you know, I know that sometimes those things can take personal tolls on people.
Excuse me, guys.
You're one of the sweetest, nicest guys in the industry, but have these games that are, you know, sometimes objectified in a way. How did all that, you know, controversy around fatalities and violence and all that, how did that affect you personally? Was that sort of a dark period? Do you think people just don't understand it, or I mean, how did you try and interpret how people were looking at a game?
I always interpreted it as, you know, as you guys saw, the first games, just the graphic fidelity was, you know, really archaic compared to something that's now. And but at that point, it was because it was digitized graphics. We were videotaping real people, you know, and so all of a sudden there was just a little bit more of a connection between, you know, wow, that person looks real.
Not a cartoon.
Exactly. And you know, Street
Stop
Fighter
saying Starfire, you
like
bastard.
a year or so before
We'll fucking
Street
ban
Fighter
you.
2. And they were more like drawn anime type of a look. So like all of a sudden when we had this realistic look and blood, you know, it just got people's attention, and then we were, you know, cutting people's heads off and doing all this stuff. And so I fully understood and you know, in a lot of ways agreed with, you know, a 6-year-old should not be playing this game.
Right.
But video games at the time were in this big category of more of a kid thing, you know, and you know, now I think the average gamer is like over 30 or something like that. Yeah. So you know, now you have a 30-year-old is going to be able to, you know, take in. It's kind of like the equivalent of an R-rated movie. You know, so I certainly never had an issue with it. And when they said,
holy shit, there's 55 people watching me right now. Crazy.
For you personally, was there a responsibility that you started to feel around, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't push as far? Because, you know, you guys were coming up with some of the wackiest ideas out there.
I think there was a moment when we didn't have the rating stuff that I was like, yeah, you know, I wouldn't want a kid, you know, exposed to that. But once we got that M stamp on it, you know, I kind of felt like that was the equivalent of, you know, a rated R movie or something where people know that is what is the content. That's
once we had the M,
you know, there were certainly some
do whatever the fuck we want.
You know, Doom, Mortal Kombat, I think Night Trap or something where
Night Trap
were really held up as, like, you know, examples of these violent games. So that
I don't think I've ever heard Ed say Night Trap.
On some level it bothered you, but they were kind of vilified, you know, absolutely, probably more than I thought that they deserved.
He watched my stream, he must have.
You know, it is also one of those brands that
they were
was
so vilified.
mainstream because there was the Mortal Kombat film. You guys probably saw that, right?
Yeah.
Now, video game movies have had, you know, a spotty history. Tell us about, you know, that film and getting involved? How involved were you in that?
This will be
I mean,
interesting.
there've been multiple.
I haven't heard him talk much
MK
about the
films
movie.
over the years, but that
I think
initial
he's
one,
in it
I remember
somewhere.
as a kid seeing it, and it was.
He's an extra.
The music. I mean, it was quite the production.
That film, you know, to the producers of that film and to Acclaim's credit, you know, I've always been pretty vocal about. I felt like they raised Mortal Kombat out, you know, beyond, you know, like a video game. It became like a pop culture thing, you know. That scream, that Mortal Kombat.
I don't know what Mortal Kombat with the C is, Atashi.
That started that
Got him.
music and all that. That I think it was suddenly, you know, that was a song on the radio, you know, and all of a sudden the movie raised it too. So at some point while we were working on our games, we had Acclaim come in and say they're going to spend, you know, $10 million to advertise this game, and you know, in my head I was like, you know,
no, they're not.
You know, that's a lot of money to put behind it. And then a guy came in and said, you know, we want to make a movie out of this, and I was like, you know, you're insane. You know, nobody's gonna watch this, and you know, but like I said, to their credit, they were right, and they raised it, and we benefit from it. You know, after the movie and all that, and the home versions came out, and you know, even the attention it got for the violence, it just raised it to another level of kind of like in entertainment.
Was there ever a point where you wanted to take a break from MK?
Browse the movie.
There was, and actually we have. You know,
MK4.
The first four Mortal Kombat games were arcade games, and they were followed with home versions that we didn't work on. But slowly over time, the arcade scene in general was just kind of less people were playing in arcades.
It was sad.
Home systems were getting better.
Exactly, and that absolutely contributed to it. And so at some point, you know,
RIP arcades.
I certainly became disenchanted a little bit with the arcade industry, and we were like, okay, let's do something, you know, goes directly to home, and so we did a Mortal Kombat game, and then that was the one that we did directly to home, which was called Deadly Alliance. That, you know, that jumped up in sales. You know, we sold like, you know, 5 or 6 million.
Yeah, because we didn't have an MK for 5 years.
So they were like,
those were dark
try
times.
something different. They go, no, you're not. And then that was that same conversation.
You remember what did you want to do differently then? Different game did you pitch?
Yeah, you know, we did a arcade called the Grid, which was like they.
I want to hear
some applause for the Grid up there.
I so want to play the Grid.
It was like 6 arcade machines linked together, which was a ride, and to me is like the most fun I've ever had playing one of my games was that game. But you had to buy, you know, to have that experience, you had to have 4, 5, 6 arcade machines in a dying arcade market. You know, it's that's a tough sell for a. But at that point, we had kind of, you know, gone off and done that game, and then Mortal Kombat had like a game called Shaolin Monks, which was like an action adventure type version of that game. And you know, so but they still had the label Mortal Kombat on it,
right?
You know, and so we're trying to kind of
HD version, Ed.
These things while continuing to do the Mortal Kombat thing, which as I was saying before,
this is the part where you announce it.
Played a really significant role.
This is the part where you announce MKSM HD.
You know, financial
prosperity. Then you got sort of your first crossover at Midway, MK versus DC Universe.
Actually, that was after Armageddon.
Yeah, also, they're always thinking of how do we, you know, bring properties together, do something cool. Which I guess, you know, in some ways,
jeez, get your stuff right, mate.
Be ultimately with Warner Brothers and all this.
I should be hosting this.
I know the history. There are obviously lots of ideas for crossovers.
I know the order of the
games.
games.
Characters back in the day and things like that. People, you know, where's the MK cross Street Fighter? Like, you know, people always like have these ideas. Why was that the first one that you wanted to do with this MK versus DC? Because you know you were a very mature rated game.
Yeah.
Bring in DC, and I think you had to bring the rating down for that one, right?
We did.
Yeah.
And actually, it wasn't our team's idea. It was our one of the guys in marketing.
Marketing, yeah.
Yeah, he you know, he knew people at DC, and they said, you know, you want to do this, and you know, Mortal Kombat was really hot, so they were like, you know,
I wonder who that
bring
was.
these characters.
Marketing.
And there was. The game did well, but there was a lot of compromises. You know, there was a lot of stuff going on with you know, Midway started to really get unstable at the time. The T rating, I think, for Mortal Kombat fans to not have an M-rated game was like blasphemy. And then the guidelines that we had to kind of stay within in the DC,
universe.
Yeah, exactly. So all those things with Midway, and some of those things with Midway, I wish I could tell you about, but I'm not allowed to. It made that a really tough project to complete.
I want to hear the real stories, Ed.
It was, like I said, it did well, and I think Mortal Kombat has so many fans that they're they come along with us for the ride.
Exactly,
Atashi. That was a really tough project.
Yeah, and then after that there was this transition for MK.
Yeah, MK versus DC was heaps of fun.
Moving over to Warner Brothers, MK9.
He calls it MK9.
Was that a point where you maybe said, "Hey, I want to do something different with my life"?
I hate it when people call MK9 Mortal Kombat. I hate
Midway
that.
Sort of faltering. MKDC was something different, but he said wasn't necessarily what the fans wanted. I mean, were you ever at a point where like, hey, I want to go off and make a character action game, or I want to go off and make a first-person action game? Like, I mean, you're such a talented, creative person. I'm sure at some point, maybe this is your chance for a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, certainly. Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks was like, it kind of scratched an itch that we all had of, and we always look at that game as, in our heads we're thinking, that's not the last one we're going to do. We're always thinking that, we'd love to do.
You guys be into that? Something to do.
Yeah.
Give us what we want.
We've had a number of conversations about that. At the time, we had already started Mortal Kombat 9, and the first thing that Warner Brothers said when we kind of got on board with them was, we're going to give you 6 more months, give you more time, make it a quality product, and that game ended up being the highest selling of all the Mortal Kombat games before it, which was really weird, some 18 years later or something like that, to have your best-selling one. And so that really kind of sparked the whole thing with continuing Mortal Kombat. But MK versus DC also kind of made it apparent to us that there was like a superhero game waiting to be made that didn't have the restrictions of Mortal Kombat, the violence of Mortal Kombat, that just kind of celebrated that, and that spawned the first Injustice game.
Why couldn't you do MK versus DC?
That did really well for us, and we just introduced the sequel.
2, yes.
And so now
you guys playing Injustice 2?
And so that, started this new, this franchise that we've been kind of, alternating with Mortal Kombat at the time. So.
Yeah, and that's, I guess that's fresh, but, fighting games, you said you've done so many of them. Like you mentioned Shaolin Monks, I don't know if you guys know, they have an incredible mobile studio at NetherRealm, and I don't know if you guys have played Injustice or the mobile games, but it's amazing that you're able to do this across multiple platforms. And also, I think push in new directions, because I think sometimes people think of these games as fighting games, but I think we all know like the stories
so
that you built, and even
it's
Injustice,
like
a lot of talk
I love
about
Injustice.
how great the animation is, the lips. I mean, you're telling pretty epic tales.
Yeah, there's effectively a baked-in movie.
Yeah.
In our games, in the Mortal Kombat and Injustice movie, and so we
but
have
we want
an
Shaolin
entire
Monks
team
too, Ed.
of animators, directors, story writers. Like there is a movie production that is part of the whole big production that is, Mortal Kombat and Injustice, and again, that's a whole other kind of form of.
They trap him like some animal.
I think that's part of the reason that we've done like these.
Make another Injustice.
We did like this puzzle combat thing, this motor combat thing, this story mode, all these kind of things. Is it's a little bit of what you're talking about, where we're just scratching another itch while continuing this this gigantic behemoth that is the Mortal Kombat franchise.
It's also interesting to look at a franchise over so many years, because the technology
it's very possible
was,
Second City Saint, because they were on 360.
What you could do with that, rotoscope animation and whatnot, and now we're at a point where games, you can do a lot of things. But are there things still technically that you feel held back? The things you want to do in the latest MK that you still can't get there? It's like you always want more polygons, more animation, but from a game
that's MK11 in the E3 chat.
It's interesting that you've been still the same core fighting.
I know,
game,
right?
But do you still feel at all restricted creatively because this medium can't give you enough of something?
I don't know if I'd call it restricted
Come back,
as much as I'd say like by nature of fighting games.
Oh, the
just,
Starfire
one-on-one,
guy has moved
it'd be
into that
great
chat.
To introduce,
The guy
more
that's
of a-
spamming
of a
these moved
team
over
element
there.
To it, a lot of
I can
online
see him.
is,
Royalty Gaming.
guilds and groups and all of the the kind of collective gameplay
Chess combat was
experience that you
awesome.
have. So it'd be great to have a 5-on-5, a team of 5 fighters.
5-on-5
against
MK.
another
Anyone in?
Yeah. It'd be a lot of
Alright.
and
I'd
it'd be
rather
a
have
great,
Shaolin
to
monks
see
too.
tournaments where there's teams of people, kind of like you see a team of people playing,
The MOBA or something
League
like
of
that.
Legends or something like that. And so I would love to see, I guess you'd have to have, the kind of the memory to hold all the characters in there, and the environments and all the animations that go with it. But as far as just expanding the amount of memory and letting more players than just 1-on-1 or 2-on-2 play.
Fighting games are so much about the control and the feel of the game. I'm curious, how much of it does that move from one game to the next? Like, at what point do you totally rewrite the code, or how much carries forward? I mean, from even the early arcade games and whatnot. I mean, do you when you do a new MK? I'm sure you don't start fresh, but like, how does that get updated over time?
We usually have just a feeling of when it's time to change. Like when we did the first 3 Mortal Kombat games, 3D games were 3D fighters were starting to really kind of rise up. Tekken, Virtual Fighter, Dead or Alive, and that was just kind of like the direction things were going. And so we were kind of, okay, let's go into more of a 3D feel.
Justice
And then,
Monks.
after about 3 games of that,
Combat
everything we were
card.
just feeling was going back to 2D. That's Mortal Kombat 9 was going back to 2D. And so we always think of it as like, rebooting the fighting engine. We always feel like after a certain amount of time, if you don't change it, people will feel like they've had that experience.
It's usually every 3 games they
You put
do the
prettier
engine.
graphics on it. I've always felt like, it's a bit of a risk, but I think it's more
MKDC,
risky to keep
MK9,
doing the same
MKX,
thing, and
3.
eventually,
So they're due to
over
redo the
time,
engine.
You just kind of fade away. I think that's one of the reasons why Mortal Kombat has stuck along, is we haven't been afraid to mix things up with it.
Absolutely, and now getting to multi-stage arenas. I mean, there's just there's so much more that you can sort of build on. But you're right, it's still that sort of one-on-one action. All right, we're going to go some questions people have. We're going to let you guys in the audience ask questions. We're also going to have a video question from Facebook.
When? What about Shaolin Monks 2? When?
We'll get to you.
I'm here with Jocelyn from Valencia, California. Jocelyn, what's your question?
Oh, this question is for Mr. Boon. As a mom of 2 boys who grew up with Mortal Kombat on their Christmas list, I wanted to know what's the passion that drives you to evolve this game from one level to the next to make it more exciting for all your consumers, especially the young generation.
Oh, phew.
So what's the passion that drives you?
Ooh, that was close.
Some of it is the.
I bet Boon was sweating bullets then.
Being
How
able
could
to
you
do
release a
something
violent
that everyone
game?
Just opens ideas, kind of flowing as far as.
That's what I thought she was gonna say.
Suddenly, when we're going from sprites to polygons to online components to all these features, it just, you have a lot of ideas when there's a bigger palette of.
That was
things
scary.
To do. And thankfully, technology has been, moving so fast, accelerating. If anything, it's just made.
They better not
the,
put
the,
gear into
the
Mortal
direction
Kombat.
that we want to take a lot more.
I'll hate that if they do that.
We have a question here from someone watching on Facebook Live. Justin Long wants to know, will we be seeing Frost ever again?
Ever again? Probably. Yeah. As close as I can come.
All right.
I certainly can't confirm or anything like that.
Can't confirm or deny anything. All right, we got lots more Facebook questions coming in, but want to get, oh wow, we got a lot of people. We don't have mics upstairs, so if you guys want to ask a question, you're going to have to come down.
Oh, good setup.
But we'll
No
start down
mics.
here. There are lots of questions. Let's start with you right there, man. Yeah, we're going to bring mic too.
Hello? Hi. Is it on?
Mic's working?
Okay. So my question is regarding, is there a chance that Mortal Kombat would be, is there a version of Mortal Kombat as a story that you would turn into a VR game?
Oh no, don't ask that question. No,
VR.
cringe. No, VR.
VR?
No.
Sure.
I guess just to the point before.
Please, God, no.
When new technology.
Don't put the idea in their heads.
That's certainly a discussion that we've had. You know, and you'd be crazy not to talk about it. So.
Mortal Kombat for the Wii, I remember back in the day, right?
That's right.
Exactly, that's right.
I was
We
on
did
the
that
D3
shit.
show floor and I saw that there was a demo of a guy who was playing a boxing game in VR.
Yeah.
And he looked so tired. Oh my God. He did not look amused. And so some of those things, you know, you think, you know, that'd be fun for like, 4 minutes.
Right.
You know?
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Ed shut it down.
Oh wow!
Good.
All right, you got a lot. I was
It'd be
never
too
handed
tiring.
For the question. Let's.
I don't want to play MK and be tired. Ask a good question, please. Go.
When they, if you can remember this, remember that the producers or whatever for the film wanted it to be an R-rated film or a PG-13 film when they suggested the movie when they proposed it.
Do I remember or did they?
Did they propose it as an R movie?
No, I think from the very beginning, I think they wanted it to be PG-13. I think that they had, they were aware that the game had fans that were skewing younger, and even though it had an M-rated,
Mark, that's funny.
It was an M-rated game. They wanted to really push PG-13 as far.
Yeah,
as
where's the
good.
Lego
I think
Mortal Kombat?
You notice in the opening scene, like Shang Tsung breaks somebody's back, like Liu Kang's brother's back, which I shouldn't be laughing at. And
I laugh.
Sick, twisted mind of Ed Boon.
But they had a.
So
It was pretty clear from the very beginning that they wanted it to be PG-13.
Wow, cool. All right, we got lots of questions. Like every hand is in the audience. You ready?
You didn't leave enough time for questions. You always do this.
Yep. Yeah, red shirt. Yep.
They're not going to announce anything, dude.
Hello.
I
what made you
cling
think
to
of
the hope.
Fatalities?
When did we think of them?
Yeah, like what made you think of putting it in a game?
It was. They were a direct response
to the violence.
Well, it was a tongue-in-cheek response to the attention that the fatalities were getting. You know, we were like, let's do this, a friendship, like the exact opposite of what Mortal Kombat is. And so that, like Baraka gives the guy a present and always, and that was, that was a lot of fun to come up with them. And at that point, no matter what secret we put in the game, it was the coolest thing in the world. And I was like, Dan Forden was our audio guy. He said, let's turn him into a baby and let's call it Babality. And then we was like, he's like, no, I'm serious.
That's it. Let's do it.
So Dan Forden was the guy who came up with Babalities. Yeah.
All right. Next question.
Dan Forden,
let's go to
legend.
The guy in the black hoodie right there. Yeah. Go for it.
Hi. So when I was a kid, I would watch the Deadly Alliance behind-the-scenes documentaries a lot, and I saw that a lot of the characters were born out of restriction and limitations. At which point in the series did you think, oh wow, this has a potential for storytelling and lore? And when did you start developing it further?
Good question.
That is a good
that's
question.
another kind of technology response is that was the first game that we did that was on CD-ROM, and you just had a lot more data, and so suddenly we could tell a much more elaborate story. The first games were arcade games. They had these ROM chips, and we used everything we could for the graphics, and so that was certainly one of the things that came to mind was let's start expanding on the story. That was one of the things people really seem to have liked about Mortal Kombat was its lore, associating with the character a little bit.
That was a pretty
more.
good question.
And so CD-ROMs is our main thing.
CD-ROM.
All right. Next question.
650 megabytes.
Let's
Storage.
go way in the back there. The yellow.
Another girl.
Oh, these questions from women too. Across all boundaries.
Hi. I
They
want to
pick
know,
the women.
how do you decide what characters go in Injustice and in Mortal Kombat? What are those development meetings like?
How do we decide which characters we're going to have?
Mm-hmm.
A big variable is people yelling, tweeting.
What the fans say on Twitter, right?
Tweeting, threatening.
Yes.
The bigger the threat, the better the no. So a lot of it is feedback from fans. A lot of it is
you heard him.
Just getting
Let's put out the Shaolin
pulse,
Monk's 2
we
threats.
just introduced Red Hood in Injustice,
Yeah.
and that was
that
was an absolute
Woo!
response to
Red Hood.
The
Woo!
volume of people insisting that character gets in the game.
Awesome. Let's go to the guy in the Mario hat. Or
Yeah.
Mario hat, yeah.
Mario hat guy. Oh, I want that Mario hat.
Will there ever be a crossover with Street Fighter?
Oh, such a dumb question.
MK Cross Street Fighter, let's roll the trailer.
Yeah.
They can't ever do it.
I wish I came up with that joke. We actually we came really close. When we actually mocked up, and I sent it to Jeff. We couldn't get it up there. We had mocked up a Ken and a Scorpion. Yeah, exactly. Kind of facing each other off, and we had a discussion about it.
How long ago was this?
This was right at about
Deception.
Deadly Alliance. So it was like
Deception.
I forgot when it was. 2000.
Wow.
And so the discussions were had by Capcom and Midway. So we hated each other. No, we didn't hate each other. But actually, I'm a huge fan of Street Fighter, and I as a player, I'd love to see it. You'd have to answer questions of like, what's the fighting engine? Is it PG? PG. Is it M-rated or is it But it's certainly been discussed.
All right. Just answer questions all day. I think we got time for maybe one or two more questions.
Oh, God.
All right, maybe the guy holding up the Mortal Kombat box. Genesis box.
Yeah, maybe him.
Exactly.
I just want saying this, please.
I hate it when they ask
That's
that.
not fair. That's not a question.
I hate that question.
The answer is no.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm a huge fan of Mortal Kombat ever since it came out. I had a question for you about like Shaolin Monks. Would you ever consider like making the dream team of Scorpion and Sub-Zero like?
Oh my God.
When I saw Mortal Kombat,
It's a good question. It's a good question.
Scorpion and Sub-Zero together. You know what I mean? Yeah. So could you possibly make a game where Scorpion and Sub-Zero are together, and then you could have?
We had one. The team that was where Shaolin Monks was developed was in
Paradox
Park.
Studios.
It was a group called Paradox.
Yep.
And when they finished
I know my
Shaolin
shit.
Monks, they started working on a game called Mortal Kombat Fire and Ice.
Mortal Kombat
which
Shaolin
was
Monks 2 Fire
Scorpion
and
and
Ice.
Sub-Zero together.
Yep.
And they had a mock-up, a demo going, and we were very excited about it. And then, through circumstances out of everybody's control, we just couldn't move forward with it. But everybody was very excited about it. It's a very, very talented team.
That's awesome. And also, I had my Mortal Kombat X comic. I wanted you to sign it. So,
Ed Boon, you're a popular man. All right, we're not really doing signings or autographs here. It's up to you, Ed, on what you'd like to do. All right, well, unfortunately, guys, we are out of time. We'll just have to bring Ed back next year to answer more questions.
That'd be fun.
Awesome. Ed Boon, everyone, a true legend in the video game business. Thanks, Ed.
Jeez. The trailer was alright that they showed.
Coming up next, Far Cry 5, a trip to Hope County.
I knew they wouldn't announce anything, but I will say something here in a minute. This shit. But you know what? That trailer they showed. At I don't know, 10 minutes in, like the Mortal Kombat trailer. It had some really clean footage in it that I've never seen before. It had some clean footage of MK4 Road Tour, and it had a really clean version of the Mortal Kombat 1 commercial. And I'm always looking for better quality versions of things. And I've never seen those before. So either Ed dug them up or Warner Brothers dug them up, and they put it together just for that trailer. But you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking maybe that they're actually starting to put some shit together for something later in the year. And it might just be another video, I don't know, but it looked like they might have been putting something together. Because there were some really nice, clean versions of that stuff. Yeah, exactly, Atashi. It's something I've always been tempted to send a letter. You know, I can't. But I've always been tempted to send a letter over to them and say, can't you put the Mortal Kombat 1 commercial out, good quality, the Mortal Kombat 2 one? It's not sitting on some Betamax tape somewhere. You know what I mean? Put all the previous commercials out in good quality, because a lot of them are garbage. Like, if you've seen the Mythologies ad, it's like a little 320 by 224 res QuickTime video that's blocky as fuck, you know? It'd be nice to get this stuff back out in good quality. Yeah, they used to give me all the best stuff back then, mate. I've got it on email going, we give you this before anyone else. I've got emails from Midway saying that stuff. You're the first to get this. And that included online sites. There was a moment where they even said to me, we've given you this before MK Online. An MK Online was the king. That's always kind of been the biggest site, you know what I mean? So I remember reading that going, oh my god, TMK can't be stopped. And I was really excited. And then Warner Brothers took over. I had 70 viewers, dude. That's the most I've ever had. And I'm tired as fuck. Even now, 50 viewers is good. Tutors. Oh. We all miss the good old days. Oh, man. I don't get, how they were doing Shaolin Monks 2 and they just gave up on it. That seems shit. I'm gonna turn all this shit off. Go away. And go away. And I'll turn this one off. Yeah, it seems like, put myself over here. It seems like, why didn't they just do it? If they had something that was popular. Oh, by the way, I don't even play the Far Cry games, but that trailer, that's one of the best trailers I've seen at this E3. That Far Cry 5 trailer is fucking awesome. I freaked out when I saw that. I was like, what the fuck is this? And it's Far Cry 5. I'm like, I wanted it to be a new game so I could get into it. But, going back to Shaolin Monks 2, I just don't understand why they didn't. Ed said it didn't work out in that. And then Warner Brothers told them just to make MK9, I guess. But they had a studio that was making it. Why didn't Warner Brothers just buy the fucking studio? Just buy them. They have so much money. Maybe they had no faith back then. They already thought MK was a risk. I was given a free copy of Far Cry. I've never played it on PC. The CD's around somewhere. Almost done with MK games. Nah, man. Someone asked about the HD Trilogy remaster. They won't ever do that. Let's wait for the 30th anniversary. You know, I'll tell you what will happen in the 30th anniversary. Injustice 3 will be coming out. And we won't talk about Mortal Kombat at all. Because that's what they did for 20 and 25. So, logic says that that's what will happen on the 30th anniversary of Mortal Kombat. Well, it didn't work out because Midway closed down. If Midway didn't close down, we'd have Shaolin Monks 2. But that being said, if Midway didn't close down, we wouldn't have MK9 as well, so... What would you rather have, guys? MK9 or Shaolin Monks 2 Fire and Ice? That's a hard question. MK9 was pretty awesome. I'll give Jeff Keighley props for that one joke that he said. Mortal Kombat vs. Street Fighter, roll the trailer. That was pretty funny. Injustice is a disease. SM2. You guys are interesting. MK Games will vanish. I don't think they will. Because I looked up the sales of Mortal Kombat versus Injustice, and Mortal Kombat always sells more. It's funny that, though. It's like they're trying to get Injustice to MK's level. That's what it looks like. Capcom doesn't want Ryu or Chun-Li's heads ripped off. They've never said that. They'd be all for it, dude. Will there be another Mortal Kombat game? There'll always be another one. 2 to 3 million. I'd have to look it up. I forget, but I looked up the numbers recently, and MK was higher. Because I was getting worried that Injustice was outselling MK as well. I think MKX wasn't as well received as MK9. A lot of people were a bit disappointed in the direction that MKX took with the story and stuff, and characters and levels and things. So I think MK9 would have sold more, and people would have liked it more. Combat Pack 3. They've never said that it's going to be a Combat Pack 3. They literally said, we're doing 2 and that's it. But everyone just kept saying, Combat Pack 3, Combat Pack 3. And I'm like, but they've already said. They just didn't keep saying it. But they did say it one time, that they were only going to do 2 Combat Packs. But everyone kept demanding it. And I thought, well, if enough people make noise, maybe they'll be forced to do KP3. But then it got so close to, like, you know, their next game. I'm like, no, I won't do it now. And that's exactly what happened. You should Injustice. I think MKX was a really solid game in terms of like quality and graphics engine and delivery and sound and things, but it's just hard to take. It's hard to make the jump from MK9 to MKX. Really hard. Without having all those games in between. But, like, you know, your Deadly Alliances and your Deceptions and that. When you literally go from, like, MK9, which is a reboot of MK123, to MKX, which is a story in the future and have nothing in the middle, and this big time jump without, like, any real sort of explanation. It's told in the MKX story through a few flashbacks. But I think that's why it wasn't well received, because it wasn't gradual. It was kind of, like, sudden. I don't think it made it bad. It's just it didn't make it beloved, if that makes sense. Like, because all the MKs, the cool thing about all those old games, even those 3D ones, is they had the time to tell a story. A lot of people say MK9's better than MKX. I'd say MK9's better than MKX. I would. Especially because you're retreading the 3 most popular games too, MK1 to 3, you know. Was MKX better than Trilogy? Yes, it was. I don't get why all you people like Trilogy. I don't get it. Stop it. It's trash. Kintaro, Rotaro. Shao Kahn, Kintaro. You guys just like it because you can do anything in it. They literally put a game out with no balancing. That's what Trilogy is. It's an unbalanced turd. You guys love it because you can be Shao Kahn and Noob Sabat and Rain. Just because you can be everyone, you love that shit. But it's a crap game. You like the idea of it. I understand. You like the idea that you can be anyone, and it's all Mortal Kombat 1 to 3, and it's got all the levels, but the logistics of it, nah. I'd say Armageddon's better than Trilogy. I'll say it. Armageddon's better than Trilogy. Heaps better, because they balanced it. You don't like MKT? Okay. You can like MKT. I don't... Like, I get heaps of people saying in the chat that they don't like it as well. You can like it. I don't care. I just think... I've thought it through, and it's not balanced. There's literally a move in there from Noob Saibot. He hits them with the fireball, and then they can't block. That's how I'd beat the game. I just pick Noob Saibot and go fireball, down forward low punch, and then run in and go low kick, low kick, low kick, low kick. And I'd beat the game. Because it made it so the opponent couldn't block. And then you had the most easiest combo in the world that no one could ever fucking drop. Low kick, low kick, low kick, low kick. That's literally the combo. The sun's coming up. I can't believe I got up so early for this shit. Loser! Did I like Chameleon? Not really. I like the idea of the character, but I don't like where they went with Chameleon. Having like, we gotta have male Chameleon, we gotta have female Chameleon, and then like it carry it over to Armageddon. We gotta have male Chameleon now because everyone's asking for it. Now we gotta have female Chameleon in the Wii one because everyone's asking for it. It just got stupid. I just wish they had one character, Chameleon. That's it. Make her female because Reptile's trying to get his race going again, and that then adds, you know, the hope to that storyline. If there's a female Chameleon out there, Reptile could possibly bang her and get his race going again and lay 1,000 eggs or some shit. I don't know. That's what I would have done. If MK comes to the Switch, I kind of want MK 1 and 2 Classic. Reptile wants some of that Chameleon booty. Exactly. What time is it in Australia? 6:40 in the morning. This was the earliest I had to get up, was the Mortal Kombat thing. They couldn't have fucking planned that shit at a worse time. Okay, for continue screen of music. That was a cool continue screen. Oh! How many eggs did they even lay? A lot. I don't know. Tanga. Who's Tanga? MK4 remaster. I'd actually get behind that Melon Daddy because they haven't ever re-released Mortal Kombat 4. The last Mortal Kombat 4 that came out was the PC one, and I think it'd be nice to get a version out there that runs. Disappointed. Do I like Sub-Zero? I like Sub-Zero, but Scorpion's my main. They did Rob S. But Rob S, they were only doing Mortal Kombat 1 to 3. They weren't doing MK4. Yeah, MK Gold and all systems, exactly. Exactly. Ed, pop in my chat like last time. He'll never do that again. Have you ever noticed that that's never happened again? Because Warner Brothers probably found out about it. No, you can't go in that guy's chat. He talks shit about us. Oh my god, that Far Cry 5 thing looks so good. Ed popped in my chat. No one believes me because the person was called Ed Boon. And everyone says I was being trolled, but this person wasn't behaving like a troll at all. And he knew things about me. And this was just after MKX was announced. I did 3 streams. And Paulo Garcia was in the first one, who works on the MK team. And then like the second or third night, I forget which one, this Ed Boon person, I think it was the second night and then the third night. And that he said things like, we're going to say, this person, this troll, if you will, said things like, oh, we're going to announce more stuff today. And like everything that person said came true. Yeah, it was clearly him. And I followed that name on Twitch, you know, and then later on I was unfollowed, like he followed me. And then later on I was unfollowed by that Ed Boon name. And that Ed Boon was following all the like Injustice things and that and the live streams, and that account's still there. So if it was a troll account, that person would have abandoned that account. Do you know what I mean? And no one believes me. Everyone's like, oh yeah, as if Ed Boon's gonna come in your stream with 10 other people. You know? But that's how cool Ed is. He knows me. But no one ever believes me, so fine, whatever. I know it was him. It'd be cool if he could admit to it and say it was him, but I don't think he could ever admit to being it. Yeah. I know, it is insane, and no one believed me. I think maybe 3 people. Yeah, Atashi was there. I think 3 people in the stream believed me that it was him, and Atashi was one of them. Yeah, you're one of the 3 people, Atashi. Everyone else is like, troll, troll. Put them in the Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden, excellent. Execute them, bogus. I've never listened to Iron Maiden, but I know that quote from Bill and Ted. Yeah, he probably, you know, Ed gets around. He usually uses a alias to visit streams or things now, as far as I know. So, like, people don't get excited it's him. Because I was getting excited. I'm like, it's so him! I go, this is so cool! I thought it was cool. Now he probably has to use an alias because I got so excited. And Warner Brothers probably found out. You went in that guy's stream! That guy hates us! Why would you do that? Yeah, he always pops in other streams, exactly. Like I said, the account's still active. And, like, I've been monitoring that account to see if it really was a troll. By some real stretch. I still don't think it was, but that account, like, follows all the Injustice stuff, so. If it was a troll, they would just abandon the account. No stairway, denied. That's Wayne's World. Wayne's World is like Bill and Ted, though. It's been literal years since I last heard of you. You look older. I mean, duh. It's cool seeing you around. I haven't gone anywhere! Where have you been? I've been putting up videos for 10 years. You can literally see me age if you do a time lapse over all the videos. Which was better, MK4 or Deadly Alliance? MK4. See ya, V-Mon. Edge new toasty guy. Toasty. Total Grandpa Combat. I remember when I was young, we only had 7 characters to pick from and 2 bosses. One was a sub-boss, one was a boss, and a hidden character. That makes 10 characters total in the original Mortal Kombat. Now in these newfangled doodah games, they put in too many characters, and I can't remember all the special moves. It's not fair. No one can remember all the moves of 60 characters. In my day, we only had to learn 7 characters. What are they doing to this franchise? What are they doing? I wonder how long I'll keep my hair for. If I end up like really old and my hair's still this long, I'm gonna look like fucking Killer Bobatashi, and you know who I'm talking about. Hey little boy, wanna play with fire? You wanna play with Bob? Gives me creeps every time. That line is creepy as fuck, dude. Why doesn't Ed Boon follow me on Twitter? Because Warner Brothers told him not to. Although, well, I assume that's why, but Ed's lately has been following more fan sites, but for a long time he hasn't followed many people on Twitter. But just recently he like followed MK Online and a few other people. If I could go back in time, where would I go? I don't know. That's a good question. Ed didn't mention Special Forces during the chat. I'm disappointed. He ditched it once on the Watchtower. I was like, ooh, shots fired. That's the question they asked him, actually. They're like, if you had a time machine and you could change something, what would you change? And he's like, they asked him that, like, what would you go back and change? And he's like, I'd cancel the Special Forces project. And I was like, ooh. That's the first time I'd, like, publicly heard him, like, diss, like, Special Forces. I was like, ouch. You wish he followed you on Twitter for feedback? That's why he doesn't follow you on Twitter, dude. Because it's just everyone wants to give him feedback. Yeah, I never heard him. That's the only time I've ever heard Ed talk about it. Yeah, Shaolin Monks was a blast. It's a shame that they won't consider doing a second one. They really should do it. Oh man, the sun's coming up. The announcement is Mortal Kombat VR. No! That was the first question they asked. I was like, no, God, no, don't put that idea in their heads. Because then they go have a meeting like, see? The public wants Mortal Kombat VR. Someone asked about it. We gotta jump on the hype train with that shit. No, you don't. I'm glad Ed shut it down. He watched a guy playing a boxing game VR, and the guy was tired after 4 minutes. Oh, God. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, Atashi. Thank God that didn't happen. Oh. You know, I remember when Anita Sarkeesian went to E3 and just went around going, that's sexist against women, that's sexist against women, and that guy filmed me without permission, and I didn't say he could film me because he's a stupid idiot. When you walk into E3, the first thing you see, there's this sign that says, you will be filmed by entering E3. You give your consent to be filmed. There's literally that is on a sign. Because there's no way they can police the 100,000 journos that are in E3. You can't... there's no way to control that. So by entering the show, you admit that you might be filmed in the background scratching your ass. You know? And here she is trying to make a political statement about it. I didn't say they could film me. I was like, shut up. Oh, she's so annoying. So irrelevant now. No one cares about her anymore anyway. Do you still have MK2 on PS1? Oh, what, you think I'm going to say? Yeah. I don't want my copy anymore. You can have it. Yes, I still have it. Yes, I'm keeping it. No, it's not for sale. If you want advice on how to get one, do what I did. Signed up at PlayAsia. That's how I got it. And put an email notification down that when it came back in stock, it sent me an email. And then when I got the email, I bought it straight away. It cost me a lot of money. Give you Trilogy for PS1. Why do you want it? You said it's crap, Atashi. He's showing his true colours now. Oh no, I really like the game. He said he didn't like it. You said you didn't like it. You're so busted. Got him. Got him. You know why I have so many copies? Because back then I had a job, and I used to work next to a Target, and I'd go into Target usually because I usually worked Thursday, Friday nights, and we'd get quiet zones, and the boss would just let me go because it was 2 stores away. So I'd go into Target, and they always had Trilogy, brand new for $20. So I just buy one every week or every fortnight. I'd buy another copy of Trilogy. And that's how I ended up with 5 copies of Trilogy. And then when that store closed down, we had 3 copies of Shaolin Monks. One was mine that I used in the review. I actually broke the cover. And then when the store closed down, we had these other 2 copies that no one ever bought. Shaolin Monks. I think Special Forces. I think we had 4 copies because he used to order 4 at a time. So I think we sold one copy of Special Forces, and the other 3 I got, and that's how I have 2 sealed copies. Apparently that's really hard to find now, Special Forces, because it's such a turd, I guess. How'd I like the interview? Oh, it was alright. I liked the trailer they showed, believe it or not, because there was some high quality footage in there of the MK1 commercial and the MK4 Road Tour, which I've never seen. So it makes me think that they might be doing something behind the scenes with some of the old Mortal Kombat stuff. Maybe they're going to put out a big documentary or something. I don't know. Maybe they're going to do something this year, hopefully. You know, because I've never seen that stuff high quality like that before. So I'm sure Ed's got it all on Betamax tape somewhere. So. You had 9 copies of Shaolin Monks. Nice, dude. You have 6 billion copies of MK3 Game Gear. You know what's hard to find, Game Gear? MK2 Game Gear is hard to find. I actually don't have it boxed. That's one of the Mortal Kombats I don't have boxed. I'm sure I could track one down, but it's hard to find in Australia, MK2 Game Gear with the box and manual. I've only got the cartridge only. And the MK1 and 2, you know, on either Game Boy or PC, that's really hard to find box. I've found 2 copies. Lucky to even just find the game. It's like, oh, fun. It's worth a lot of money. I found 2 copies, and both of the times it was just the CD with the manual. You have 5 copies of MK2 SNES? I actually have, I found 3 copies of MK3 Super Nintendo sealed, and I ended up giving one to someone to trade, and I've still got the other 2, still got them sealed. And later on, I actually ended up getting an MK3 sealed from someone. It's funny because this person just recently added me on Facebook. They used to play on my arcade machine. Because, like, I was known in the arcade because A, I worked in the arcade, and B, I had the Mortal Kombat machine, and I used to play Mortal Kombat with the school kids after school, like, because they'd ask me about codes and shit, you know, because I was, like, the guy, right? And I'd put in free games and just play with people, you know, just to play the game. And so they all liked me, you know, and we'd talk Mortal Kombat, and sometimes they'd tell me codes. Or new combos or something. But what had happened was at that time MK3 was out, right? MK3 was all the rage in the home market, and this guy entered a competition to win a copy of MK3, and he won MK3 on Mega Drive, right? And this was years ago. I bumped into him in like 2011 in my game store. Oh no, in EB, which was near my game store I used to work at. I bumped into him, and he told me I've still got that. He goes, I never opened it. I go, really? Would you sell it? He goes, yeah, I'll sell it to you. And I think I paid $100 for it. I gave him $100 for it. You know, he said he won the game and a T-shirt with it, an MK3 T-shirt, which is a shame because I don't have it. He said I'd give you the T-shirt. He goes, but I wore it. It's just trashed. He goes, you wouldn't want it. He goes, I wore it like all the time, and all the shit like wore off. I think it was that MK3 T-shirt that had the icons across the middle. But yeah, he sold me the game for $100, and I still got it now. So I've got Genesis MK3 sealed. I've got Mega Drive. I've got Super Nintendo sealed. Yeah. It's a shame I never got that Atashi because I was actively looking at that thing for so long. Like, I really wanted to get it. And I remember looking at this auction. I've told the story a million times. I'll just tell it again for the 40 people in the chat. But I remember looking at this auction and a guy was selling 50 of them. 50 of those Gamecom MK trilogies. And it was asking some cheap, ridiculous price, like $100 for 50 of them. And I wanted to buy it. And no one bought it. This is back, like, before eBay boomed. Like, because, like, eBay was, like... I was on eBay from 99 to, like, 2000. And then when, like, probably when Deadly Alliance came out, people started actively looking for back catalogue MK stuff. But, like, if you just got in before Deadly Alliance came out, you'd pick up all this shit, like, so easy. Like, I'd pick up all the stuff I've shown in my videos, like phone cards, the Mortal Kombat phone cards, and the booster card game box, and all the figurines. I'd get them all so cheap. Like, but now you want to buy MK stuff on eBay. It's, like, inflated as... You know, because all these fans now, there's so many fans, and everyone wants all the cool MK stuff. That Starfire guy. Yeah, I know, the Starfire guy. He was here. And then it was just like, Starfire. 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 Starfire's coming out anyway. It was so dumb. Like, it was the dumbest spam. And I literally just said, you say it again, I'm going to ban you. And then I even queued it up. Because, like, I couldn't... It was... The way I've got this set up, I couldn't turn that chat off. So I had to do all this shit. I had to go back into my YouTube control panel and put the chat back there, and then I had it in my primary window in the background. I was ready to ban him, but then he just left. But then I laughed because he showed up in the E3 chat going, Starfire, 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 Starfire. I could have made a lot of money. I could have had 50 copies of that Gamecom trilogy. Not that I'm about the money, but like I like having like in my cupboards. I've got the reason I've got all the spare MK stuff is one day I'll give this stuff away. I've got like spare DVDs and games and shit, you know. And I have done it in the past. I've given people in past competitions. I've thrown in like Defenders of the Realm DVDs and Slammers and stuff. I have thrown in stuff in old competitions. You have a copy of MK4 SNES? No, you don't. No, you don't. Doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. Oh, it's one of those pirate cartridges that says it's MK4 on SNES that's made by some dodgy person overseas. It's got like 3 MK4 characters. It's like Combat Game 4. Nice, Rob. That's cool. You think that's awesome, dude? I've got a copy of Deception on the ColecoVision. Yeah, man. Yeah, I can block people. Yeah, that's no problem. I didn't need to in the end. He just left, though. You didn't miss much, Kevin. You missed me getting up at 5 fucking 30 in the morning. I'm still tired. How'd I get what? Deception on ColecoVision? Contacts, mate, contacts. You found an arcade with MK4? That's awesome, dude. MK4 in the arcade is an awesome game. It's very fast paced. It's very underrated. A lot of people didn't like it because it was its first step out of digitized actors. But it's a fun arcade game to play. I liked the stream. I had the most viewers ever. It's still really high. It's like 40 people watching. But like it was peaking at like 70 people. I think that's the highest it went up to. I had 70 people watching. Store all the MK games. See, I don't do things for profit. I don't do it for that reason. Do you know what I mean? I always like to give people something that like would be hard to get. Like if I had all those Gamecom MK trilogies, how cool would that be for a prize? Here's a factory sealed Gamecom MK4 MK trilogy. You can't get these anymore, you know. I wish I'd bought those now. Pissed I didn't. I've thought about that, Jason. I really have. I've thought about selling stuff, even though I'm not about money, selling stuff to get to E3 so I can do more MK promotion. I have thought about that. No, not really, Kevin. They showed a trailer that had some interesting footage in it, of like the Mortal Kombat TV commercial and Mortal Kombat 4 Road Tour. That was really clean footage that I've never seen anywhere before. So maybe they're in the process of cleaning up footage for something. I don't know. That's the only thing I took away from that whole 45-minute chat. So. It's hard to rob people these days, though. You know, like I've got a storage shed that's got a lot of my MK stuff in it. That's like posters and stuff. But that thing's alarmed. You can't rob that. You know what I mean? Even if you put the worst padlock in the world on that storage shed, if you don't put the right code in, like when I've got to enter the facility, I've got to put a code in, and that code unlocks the alarm that's on that roller door. And if anyone opens that roller door and that code hasn't been put in, the alarm goes off straight away. You know, so it's not easy to steal from people these days. And here I got cameras. I got cameras everywhere. I got hidden sensors. I got all sorts of shit going on. So. Probably not, Kevin. Not tonight, anyway. Fight night at TMK's. What time is it here? 7:10 in the morning. I had to get up at 5:30 a.m. for the chat. Yeah, I want to do more Paper Mario. The cube's here, actually. Actually, you know, I'm stupid. Let me explain why I'm stupid. I was trying to get a good picture out of the cube, and my GameCube's one of the original ones. It has a digital port on the back. I found out later ones didn't have that port, but if you have the digital port, you could run a component cable from GameCube. Now, I remember people were paying a lot for component cables back in, like, I don't know, 4 years ago. And I knew about it. I was actually, because I didn't have a lot of money back then, I was actually considering buying cube cables and selling them, because I could literally get them from Nintendo Australia for $40. And people were paying $250 for them on YouTube. And I'm like, but part of me I don't like to sell shit for money. Like, do you know what I mean? So I didn't do it. I didn't even get a cube cable for myself. And that's the biggest mistake I ever made, because what happened, I didn't know this, I just thought it was a cable. Because every system I got, it's just an AV cable. And someone makes an unofficial one. But Nintendo, being a little fuckheads that they are, with GameCube, they put a DAC chip inside the plug of that cable. For those of you who don't know, DAC is digital, digital to analog. And it would take the digital signal from the digital port on the back, turn it into analog component in your TV and give you a 480p output. So, right now, you can't just make a cable. You need that DAC chip, and it's proprietary to Nintendo. So, if you want a GameCube cable now, they don't make them. And they go for $300 on eBay now. That's like, fuck. So I was, the other day I was like, I'm still contemplating, you can get your GameCubes modified now and add HDMI and stuff, like with an internal sort of mod. So I'm considering doing that, but I don't really need to do it because I didn't even think about it. The Wii does the 480p output now if you've got the component, which I do for the Wii. So on my next Paper Mario stream, I'm just going to hook the Wii up. And I can still use my Wavebird, I can still use my save games. And we can get the 480p output in component. So hopefully this capture card will accept it. It should. Yeah. The only difference is that if you have it on Cube, you can do the Game Boy player. So I could do 480p, you know, Deadly Alliance on Game Boy. Or Tournament Edition if I had the Cube component cable, but looks like I missed a boat on that one. But my friend has one, and I haven't asked him, but like worst case scenario, if I wanted to do a stream, I could maybe borrow it off him. If he'd be willing to lend it to me. I don't know if he would or not, though. You can get Wii stuff real cheap, but GameCube stuff's pricey. Yeah, exactly. You can do that with you don't even need to modify your Wii, dude. You just need the component cable, and it's easy to get a component cable for Wii because it doesn't have a chip in it, but the GameCube component cable does. Thanks for that, Nintendo. Which Mario game? They announced two, Mario and Rabbids and Mario Odyssey. I'm actually excited for the Rabbids one. I think I might be more excited for the Rabbids one than Odyssey. Odyssey one's weird, dude. You love your Wii? I love my Wii too, I guess. I played the shit out of that. I bought so much Virtual Console on that. Yeah, I have an attachment to it. Like, I saw it get announced in E3. And, you know, up to the launch. Like, there was so much hype. It was cool seeing Nintendo, like, in the spotlight again. And it was crazy. Like, I kept... the coolest thing about the Wii, like, because I had it ordered from the start, right? And then someone would come out with a new deal. And then I'd go to EB and make them match the deal, because they'd matched any deal. And in the end, I had a receipt, like, this fucking long, because it was like... this deal crossed out, and now we're doing this deal, and that one's crossed out. Now we're doing this, and we're crossing that one out, and we're doing that, and we're matching these people because they give you a free Wiimote, and I had all this shit by the end. I had like a Wii with another controller, with the classic controller, with a bag, like, for a really good price. No worries, Kevin. Thanks. Oh. I think I'll go back to bed. Yeah. No, wait, you saw it at Best Buy? No, you didn't, dude. Nah. It was never for sale. You could only get it from Nintendo Online, unless they had like a second-hand one. It was never sold in stores. You could only get it from Nintendo Direct. I'm good, thanks. I'm just tired. Boon made me get up at 5:30 in the morning. Well, he didn't make me. But why couldn't he have his chat at another time? Seriously. 5 in the morning is like the worst time. Like, at least if it had been like 2 hours before, I could probably stay up that late anyway. And if it had been 2 hours later, I can get up that early and not feel as fucked. But like 5 in the morning is like the worst time. That's like the worst. It's in between the two. It's like, it's not staying up late and it's not getting up like early. It's like getting up and it's like I'm flying somewhere sort of time. Normally the only time I get up at 5 in the morning is to get on a plane and go somewhere. I'm not sure if you can still buy Virtual Console games on Wii. I don't think you can on Wii. On Wii U, I think you can. Damn you, Boon! Ed, I'm tired. I prefer to get up at 10 in the morning. So I get a nice little sleep in. I'm not an early riser, I'm not. Like, I've done it. Like, when I've had jobs. You know, because you have to when you got a job. You get up every day at a certain time. It kills you, though. I'm too old for this shit. Exactly. It's getting like that. Arcade collection on Switch. I know, right? I'd like to see some Mortal Kombat on the Switch. For sure. Even just put MK9 on it or something. Or the Vita version. Because no one gives a shit about the Vita anymore. Do something. Do something! Do not put Injustice on that fucking thing. Do not. Not before MK. MK and Switch would be great because it's so portable. Oh well. They'll never do MK versus Street Fighter. It'll never happen. One development studio's in Japan and one's in America. It's never gonna happen. Yeah. He really didn't talk like about any plans that they had for Mortal Kombat this year. He just talked about the history. And then they showed a trailer. But, yeah, that'd be nice for the 25th anniversary if they could fix the fucking sound in the arcade collection. It only takes about 10 minutes to do it. One of my fans already did it. Jeez. Anyway, it was, yeah, look. They were, what was I saying? Something about the trailer. They put together that trailer and that. Oh, Boon wasn't really talking about anything they're doing for the 25th anniversary. He's just talking about the journey over the 25 years. I don't know, Loretta. They mightn't. Injustice 1 probably didn't sell that well on the Wii U. They abandoned it pretty quick. Yeah, I know, Big Boss. I actually need to get MK4. I don't have it. I don't have the MK4 PCB. I'm missing it. And I'm trying to get an NBA Jam Tournament Edition PCB. I'm keeping my eyes peeled for that. Because it's really hard to get it. One that hasn't been updated. That's got the Mortal Kombat characters in it. Heard Nintendo and Microsoft are doing a cross-play together. No? Oh yeah, for Rocket League. Yeah, they announced it in the Nintendo stream, dude. Yeah. I got excited for that. I'm like, oh, that's cool. You can watch that video. It's on my channel. Were you not in the Nintendo one? You might not have been in the Nintendo stream one. But yeah, they announced it. I'm like, does that mean you can see a Mario hat on an Xbox? Okay, that's crazy, dude. That's like the closest we've seen to Mario on another console. Yeah, because you can customize your car and have Mario things on it. So that means that if you're playing on Xbox, you're going to see those Mario things. Yeah, I'm all for that cross-play. That's cool. The sun is rapidly rising. You were on the stream, you didn't pay attention? Ah. Didn't you see me react? I went, oh, cross-network play. Okay, that's awesome. I don't think anyone reacted. I picked it up, though. Got him. Yeah, I might go back to bed. Oh, I hate getting up this early. It fucks me. I want to go back to streaming LA Noire soon. I'm waiting for E3 to clear its shit cloud so I can go back to streaming a game every night. E3 leaving a big stink cloud fucking all over the place. It's alright though, because I'm using this time to catch up on Twin Peaks. I got like 12 episodes left, Atashi, to rewatch, and then I've rewatched the whole original series except for the movie. And then I'm super ready for the new season. LA Noire, I don't know, probably a third of the way through it. How creepy is that part where you see like Killer Bob's spirit like going through the woods after he's like escapes the vessel, and you see his like spirit going through the woods, and then you see this owl like ah! Fuck, that's fucking creepy. There's so much creepy imagery in that fucking show. That shit gives me goosebumps more than any horror movie I've ever seen. Like, every horror movie I've seen is like so dumb. It's like, oh, this guy's got a cordless drill, or he's got a claw, or I could just break that shit. Like, even Evil Dead. I've seen Evil Dead, you know, and that. And it's like, okay, but Twin Peaks is just eerie and creepy as fuck. Cuphead? Nah. I have played Cuphead. It's a really good game, but just not into it. I have a cat. Cat, Boca Pizza. Yeah, Lynch is a genius. Yep. Lynch is amazing, dude. I just like all the parts where the killer's like looking in the mirror and he sees Killer Bob looking back going, ah. Oh, so creepy. And every time someone sees Killer Bob, it's scary as fuck. And then they say later, if you see Killer Bob, you're either gifted or you're damned. It means like you're gonna get killed by him if you see him. That's so fucking creepy. Killer Bob. Yeah, I've been binging on Twin Peaks, so. Because, like, I never got through the second season. I'm around, I think I'm around to where I was last time. And I don't know why, I just never finished it off. So, I think because, like, it has an interesting sort of flow, Twin Peaks. Like, season 1, 7 episodes, really good. And if you look at it, season 2, like, on the 7th episode, you find out who the killer is. It's sort of like there was season 2 was going to be 7 episodes as well, and then there was going to be season 3. But instead they made season 2 just keep going. Like 22 episodes. It's kind of weird. It kind of like feels like it drags a bit. And I think that's why I abandoned it. Nah, I haven't been to Thailand. Yeah. Is my stay out? Yeah. Yeah, season 1's very tight, and it comes across. Is who on? Pain Train. It's over. It's over, Johnny. It's over. Nothing is over. Nothing. It wasn't my war. You asked me, I didn't ask you. Yes, I would like to see a Conquest adventure game. And that would be the only instance in which I would say it's okay to have gear. Game over, man. Game over. It was exactly what we thought it'd be, Pain Train. It was 45 minutes of discussing how awesome Mortal Kombat is and no reveals. They showed a trailer, like a history of Mortal Kombat trailer. And it had some new footage in it, which makes me think from like the MK1 commercial and the MK4 Road Tour, which makes me think they might be doing something like later in the year. They might be gearing up to release, I don't know, something. Because I've never seen footage that clean before. No, he didn't talk about MK11. No. Nope. I had to get up at 5:30 in the morning for this shit. It's now 7:30 in the morning. I'm very tired. I think I'm going to go back to bed. The sun is rising. I hate trying to sleep when the sun's rising. It's the worst. Yeah, he talked about the Mortal Kombat movie, yeah. No? When did you get that, Atashi? The Ezio bust. Ezio Auditore da Firenze. Ezio. I used to call him Ezio to the PR guy. Ezio. I go, Ezio's the best. Oh, so cringy when I think back to that. Oh, it was gifted to you. Nice, dude. Well, he's my favourite assassin, Ezio. Ezio. Yes, I love Conquest Mode in Deception. Cool, you PM it, dude. Awesome. But for now, I'm going to log off because I'm starting to really fall asleep because I'm tired as fuck. So thanks for watching the Ed Boon live reaction to Coliseum. His Mortal Kombat 25 year thing. Thingamajig. Thingamadoodah. Ugh. E3 is so shit for this reason. If you want to watch something live, you've got to get up at some ungodly hour. Then the next day, it's like some normal hour. Then the next day, it goes back to some ungodly hour again. It's like a roller coaster ride of getting up, staying up to watch things. Oh. Yeah, so I'll see you guys later. I'll be streaming more soon. Probably go back to LA Noire next. Like I said, just waiting for the E3 shit cloud to clear and things can settle back down and go back to normal. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you soon.